KPIX 5's Devin Fehely with the argument for and against Prop 25.
Under the current system, if two people are accused of the exact same crime and one can afford bail and the other can't, the person who can't afford bail is going to languish in jail for weeks and possibly for months. And to a lot of people, that just doesn't sound or feel fair. But opponents of Prop 25 say we could replace that system with something that's even worse and far less fair.
It's time to end money bail.
Prop 25 would completely eliminate California's bail industry. No longer would someone accused of a crime have to pay money to get out of jail while they awaited trial. And proponents say it's a change that's long overdue.
How does a poor person that's living paycheck to paycheck, how are they going to find $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to bail someone out? And that's part of the problem. Right now, people are sitting in the county jail because they can't bail out.
If Prop 25 passes, every county would have to create a pretrial services division. Their job would be to assess two things. First, the risk of failure to appear. Basically, what's the likelihood that someone's going to show up for their court dates? And second, what's the risk to public safety if they're released? That assessment will help prosecutors, the judge, and defense attorneys figure out if someone should be released. Money would no longer be a factor.
The current cash bail system is exploitative, it's predatory, essentially takes tons of money from low-income families, largely families of color across California on a daily basis.
Prop 25 ends our right to put up bail.
The No campaign says that Prop 25 is well-intentioned but deeply flawed and may lead to even greater inequities in the criminal justice system. They say the risk assessment, that's the centerpiece of Prop 25, is going to be performed by a computer, a program that, depending on how it's designed and the factors it looks at, may end up being biased and discriminatory in its own right.
To assume that a judge is going to say, gee, the algorithm says this is a flight risk, but I'm going to let this person out because he seems like a nice young man. That is not going to happen. The algorithm is going to determine people's lives. Unlike a judge right now, unlike a prosecutor, there is no way to fight against an algorithm.
Supporters of Prop 25 say the software programs commonly used to assess risk are imperfect and will need to be monitored and fixed if they're not functioning as intended. But the greater injustice, they say, is people being stuck in jail because they can't afford bail.
I see Prop 25 as an opportunity to remove the bail industry off the board. If you leave that in place, you leave people in bondage to the criminal justice system.
Supporters of Prop 25 say they expect it to reduce the number of people in jails across the state. The No campaign, which has been funded by the bail bond industry, says there's a principle at play, that people have a right to bail, and this attempt at reform may leave more, not fewer people, locked up.
If you don't like the idea that somebody can't post a bail and stay in jail, that's a backdoor that one might call sub rosa detention. But why create a front door and allow the state to overtly incarcerate people who are presumed innocent?
2 years ago, state lawmakers passed a bail reform bill, and then Governor Jerry Brown signed it. But before it became law, opponents gathered enough signatures to put it on the ballot. That's how we got Prop 25. A yes vote will eliminate California's bail bond industry. A no vote keeps the current system. In San Jose, Devin Fehely, KPIX 5.